Hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on Microsoft Teams. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the folks joining from different parts of the globe. My name is Noor Basha, Marketing Director at WinWire Technologies, and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. As you all know, today's topic for the session is Microsoft Teams, the future of teamwork in Office 365. So in the next 30 minutes, what we will do is we will cover and learn how Microsoft Teams is bringing together all of your Teams conversations, tools, and documents in a single workplace. And we will also show why we believe it will be the future of modern collaboration. Plus, we'll spend a couple of minutes to show you a quick demo there. So before we start, let me highlight a few housekeeping items. During the webinar, please feel free to post questions and we will try to answer as many as we can at the end. And we are recording this session and we'll be sharing the presentation as well as the recording in this 24 to 48 hours. So with that, let me take this opportunity to introduce you to today's session speaker, my colleague, Mr. Madan M. He's the Senior Technical Architect at WinWire Technologies and brings over 14 years of IT industry experience and is a Microsoft certified professional. So he's been working with several of our large customers in designing and developing applications, leveraging Office 365, SharePoint, and Azure. So with that, let me hand it over to Madan to take the session forward. Madan, over to you.
Thank you so much, Noor, for setting the stage, and thanks a lot, everyone, for joining today's webinar. I know Microsoft Teams has been a hot topic in the market for a good amount of time now, and since the time Teams was launched for official use from fall 2017, there have been several major updates happened in the recent past, which kind of makes Teams as a hot topic. So happy to share all my experience, on Teams rollout and how customer needs to be kind of taking care of certain governance items for Teams. So before diving deeper into Teams, I just thought well, it will be a good idea to talk about various collaboration and teamwork option available in Office 365. Right, so that as a first topic, and then we will do a quick round of introduction for Teams features. The reason why I kept is I have seen the registered list, and I do see a lot of senior execs as well as engineers who probably would have already explored Teams a little bit, or maybe in a full-fledged manner. So it will be a good idea to just level set and just go over the features at a very high level, and what are the typical use cases we see, as well as Microsoft recommended for various department specific use cases. We'll cover that, and for Teams to be effective, obviously there are certain configuration elements to be taken care. So we will talk about those configuration options as well, what you need to take care, right? And there is a certainly a methodology we have for, first of all, doing an assessment from pilot and also rolling out Teams, and how do we drive user adoption. So all of that we have from WinWire side, we have a rollout methodology and the framework. So we will talk about that as well at a high level. And as Noor mentioned, we'll do a quick demo, and then we'll jump onto the Q&A session where we can try and answer as many questions we can. Right. With that said, I'll move on to the Office 365. So what are all the options available for teamwork as well as collaboration in Office 365? So if I look at it, I know there are certain customers when we talk to, they get confused. Okay, there are various tools, there are various new tools and features coming out from Office 365 as well as from other Microsoft platforms. So guide us on where do I need to use what, right? So just thought we'll give a quick overview of various teamwork options. Obviously, email is the one of the fortunately and unfortunately, I would say email is one of the communication platform. You collaborate using email. You set the calendar for events, and then when we talk about SharePoint, SharePoint does have team sites. In SharePoint Online, if you look at it, there is a modern team site that is mainly for familiar team collaboration. I would say, let's say you have a team based in Australia, right? A small engineering team, probably a small list of team members, and they want to collaborate. So they are asking, okay, I need a tool for me to collaborate with my team. So then, as an IT responsible person, you provide an option for, let's say, team site, right? And then within SharePoint, you have communication sites. Classic example would be, let's say, CIO staff. CIO envisions that, okay, I need to have a communication channel for my staff, right? I don't want to be sending emails over email. Emails get buried. So I want a better platform. So then communication sites comes into play from SharePoint Online. Then let's say HR head looks at it and then say, okay, all of that is great. I have a team site for my recruitment team. I have a different site for my HRIS team, and I have a communication site created. So I need to have one level higher overview and oversight of all of these sites, and I should be able to search across all of them, right? So then hub site comes into play. So the hub sites is the answer for that, which connects multiple sites and then provides you a unified experience and a search capability across all of them, right? All of related sites. Then we talk about Office 365 groups, right? So that is more of an email based group and email based mechanism. Then we talk about Yammer for external collaboration. Let's say if you want to chat something with your partners or your customers, you want to have a mechanism more like a LinkedIn kind of a look and feel as well as the user experience. Then Yammer is the tool for you. And we have Office apps starting from Word Online, Excel Online, PowerPoint Online, all of them providing a co-authoring capabilities, right, for collaboration. So then how does the team differs or works along with them, right? So that's a question a lot of customers ask. I would say team is more of a hub for the entire teamwork. Team sits on top of Office 365 groups, which is a common confusion. What's the difference between an Office 365 group as well as a team? Then team actually sits on top of Office 365 group, and you do not have a unified user interface for managing all your SharePoint team set files, your conversations, your chat based conversations. All of them are combined as part of the Teams UI, right? Let's go a little bit deeper into the Teams introduction. So this there are some screenshots provided. So there are some screenshots provided in the slide as well. You can communicate with it using chat and meetings. You can schedule video as well as audio conferences. You can collaborate with integrated Office 365 apps. When I say Office 365 apps, all the files within the Teams helps you collaborate. You can customize it, and it's not that you only have those three tabs like conversations, files, and notes. You can customize and add any kind of a third-party utility you're working on. Let's say take an example of Jira. Let's say my company works on agile-based projects. I use Jira for all my use cases, management, user scenarios, management. Then I can add one of the tabs as Jira, and I can have a unified user interface for accessing all of them. Right. Moving on. So we talked about communication, we talked about collaboration, we talked about customizing and extending it. We talked about security as well. So let's talk about security, right? So Office 365 provides a security and compliance center. So you do not need to have a separate security model for Teams. It works in conjunction with security and compliance center settings from Office 365 administration, right? So you don't need to worry about security as a separate element. If you already have Exchange Online and SharePoint Online, which is the case with most of the customers I talk to, then your security is kind of already in place. You just need to leverage the base framework set up by that security and compliance center. Office 365, as you are aware, is already compliance with HIPAA and then the European Union security requirements. We have all of that, right? So all of that is already in place. That's totally a different conversation. We have to talk about the security and compliance. So we'll be happy to help if at all there are any questions or challenges or concerns in terms of security. Coming back to that Teams. So Teams, provides, it's kind of a collection of people, content, and tools. You can create a private team with only selected number of people invited, which is the case in most of the scenarios. Or you can also create a public group, public team, where up to 2,500 users can join. What is a channel? I'm going to show a quick demo as well at the end of the session. So, I'll talk more about it. But at a high level, channel, think of it like various work streams within a particular team can be managed through channel. Channel is the one actually have all of your conversations, files and notes, OneNote sessions and everything. Channels is the one which has all of it. Right? You can have tabs, connectors, and even bots. It could be a bot you come up with, or it could be a bot available in the marketplace also. All of that is possible using Teams and channels. So there, so you have to kind of understand the difference between a team and channel, so that you can architect your rollout of Teams appropriately. This is at a high level. What's the hierarchy of Teams and channels? In your organization, you can have n number of teams, any number of teams, and each of the team can have multiple channels, and each of the channel can have conversations. It can have some notes. It can have some files, which is associated with a SharePoint site in the backend, and you can have multiple tabs. The beauty of Teams is users and end users do not need to get confused about I may need to do I need to log into SharePoint site? Do I need to log into OneNote, shared OneNote? Do I need to log into this calendar from a different platform? All of that can be avoided using a Teams interface. Teams do provide a web as well as mobile app. And it also provides it also provides a web interface as well. So if you don't have an app, you can always certainly use the web interface as well. But app makes it much more easier from a user interface and then the user experience standpoint. So I would recommend you to try on web as well as the mobile app. There are certain use cases. We can talk about some of the use cases. Let's say if I look at marketing, I can coordinate all my campaigns as well as any of the marketing events. I can coordinate all of them using Teams. Customer support. Let's say I want to have some mechanism for sharing information across my shift employees. Someone comes in the morning shift, someone comes in the evening shift. So how do I enable information sharing and knowledge sharing, across, all these, shifts. So that is something that now I'll be able to efficiently do it using Teams. If I just take an example of engineering, let's say, I can, all the ideas management, I can, have a team, for that. I can gather ideas. I can gather some feedback on the ideas I throw in. All of that is possible using, in Teams. Project management, let's say if I talk about project management, I have a lot of files and I need to, collaborate on those, files, and I need to, have a draft version. I need to have a final, version as a deliverable. All of that, can be coordinated using, Teams, right? So this is just the baseline, and this is just, give you an idea of how Microsoft envisions Teams to be used. This is just a baseline. We can certainly, help you think through all of these scenarios and, gather all your, specific, scenarios and recommend, where Teams, comes into picture, where, let's say Yammer comes into picture, where any other tool from Microsoft, comes into picture, right? Most of the collaboration scenarios we are now seeing. Most of the collaboration scenarios we are seeing, all of them are kind of pretty much addressed using Teams, but still there are certain specific cases where Teams may not be the right tool. Let's say Yammer could be the tool for that. So we can talk about all of it. If at all you have any specific scenarios which is not covered under this umbrella. There are certain settings we have talked initially. There are certain tenant level settings only the administrator of Office 365 at your organization will be able to do, and there are certain settings you can do it as the owner of the team, right? You can have members, but you can you as a owner will be able to do certain settings. For example, at a tenant level, the Office 365 administrator will have to enable certain apps so that any teams getting created, users, the owners will be able to add some tabs which are relevant for their use cases, right? Enabling apps include that includes also any external connectors. Maybe when I did the webinar probably 1.5 year back about Teams, I have seen probably like 30 to 40 different connectors, but I'm now seeing 100 plus connectors on external connectors. That includes, let's say, Jira, Confluence, and Microsoft DevOps, and Trello and Wunderlist. All these kind of different tools you are using can be integrated within the Teams environment as well. That eliminates a lot of hops. When I look at an end user who is actually using the Teams, who is actually trying to collaborate. I need to log into SharePoint first for getting my document. Then let's say I need to log into or maybe a Google Drive. Right, a lot of customers are on Google Drive also. So I need to log in there for getting my document, and I need to open my Jive chat application for checking something with my coworkers, and I need to open Outlook for emailing some information to them, and when I have the final version of the document, then I need to upload it back to Google Drive, right? Or maybe G Vault or any other system people have. Using the Teams kind of eliminates all of it, and you get a unified interface for doing all of these operations. You can avoid multiple logins as well, which is a huge plus and saves a lot of time. Best practices. If I look at the best practices, you have to engage the organization change management team early on. That is something that a lot of customers miss doing it. If I look at SharePoint as a platform, how it was in the market 10 years back when MOS 2007 was released, a little over 12 years back. It had a lot of collaboration features. So what people did, what the users did is they went wild and created multiple sites, multiple hierarchy, which is something that the IT teams probably realized 3-4 years later that we should have governed this for sure, right? So that's something that it was missed big time in SharePoint rollout. So that's something that you have to watch out. You have to engage your organization change management team very early on in the game, and choose a smaller pilot team who who can be the voice across your organization, rather than trying to roll out teams across the organization, right? So this is something that you have to watch out. Choose a very smaller pilot team, and you have to also make sure that the scenarios are more around the chat first scenarios, and you have to also properly channel the communication. Like in any other project, make sure to establish success criteria. You have to think about adoption, user adoption. What is the return on investment I want to get it, and what's the training methodology? What is the continuous feedback incorporation methodology I have, right? All of this. And one of the other important point is a lot of customers I talked to, probably like 1 year back, 1.5 years back, when Microsoft announced that Teams will replace Skype for Business. Customers are still thinking that Skype for Business replacement is just Teams, and Teams is nothing more, right? That is not true. Teams is much more than what you think of just a Skype for Business for video and audio conferences and meetings. That is, Teams is totally different. That's something that you need to have in mind. Last but not the least one, we do have a rollout methodology for Teams. For the above mentioned reasons I have stated, there is element about governance. There is an element about controlling the inorganic growth. There's an element about organization change management. So what we do is we conduct envisioning sessions with various groups within your organization, and we kind of help with the stakeholder buy-in. So we have to understand all your use cases, and then probably come up with the scenarios which make sense for leveraging your teams, and assess your infrastructure. Is your network good enough for handling all of these video and audio conferences, and what are the scenarios, what are the governance mechanisms we need to keep in place, and what's the rollout strategy, and discovery, e-discovery, all of this, right? And then once we have this plan, we will also think about how do we do a pilot for this project, and who should be doing the pilot. Is it one specific department, or maybe is it cross functional? Is it cross location teams need to do a pilot? That's something that we will help you think through, and then we will also help you think do the rollout in stages, or maybe if rollout has to be done in big bang. All of that we will evaluate, and once it rolls out, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the story. We will also keep monitoring, and then help you drive the adoption, then help think through the business transformation. There is a detailed level of rollout mechanism we have. That is something that we can certainly talk about it, and please reach out back to marketing email alias as Noor mentioned, and we'll be happy to provide more detailed level information. Right? With that said, I'll probably take a couple of minutes to show you a quick demo before I jump on to answer any questions team has. This is the team I have created mainly for managing the DevOps. As you can see, I have the default, tabs, conversations, files, and wiki. Meeting notes is something that I have added, recently. And, I can have a persistent as well as the, context specific, chat. It's not that, like, let's say, if I take an example of WhatsApp, people do just, post anything and, everything together. When I see, I see like 100 messages, right? So here, all the information is, grouped. So for a particular topic, I can, discuss, so people can, kind of respond on top of it. And if someone mentions my name, similar to any other platform, I get to see, okay, so I was, mentioned in this particular scenario, and a lot of, multi-generation, team posts is what we have most of the time in today's era. So people are, always about emotions, and then, putting emojis and everything. So Teams, provides that option as well. I can schedule a team meeting right here within the Teams app itself, and there are other, connected apps as well. So I'll be able to, let's say I want to have whether I want to have a YouTube channel and to the, my team. All of that I'll be able to do. As I mentioned, this is a team I have created, the DMS demo, and then I do have multiple channels, created for, let's say, my DevOps team. I need to have discussions with my DevOps team. I need to have, some partner updates. All of that I'll be able to do. And here, it has an option what I can do at a team, channel level, and what I can do at a team level. I'll be able to edit the team. I can manage the members. I can add, a new channel. I can mark it as a favorite, all of it. Right? And if I go to the Files tab, I can view all of the files and look at the amount of options I have. I can edit the file in Teams itself. I'm not sure how many people have tried it. I have tried it multiple times and it works like a charm. I can edit the file in the team. I can open it in the Word online, which is going to open in the browser. And I can open it in Word. I can open it in SharePoint. All of that now I'll be able to do. Okay. And I can open this site directly on SharePoint, because at the end of the day, this is basically a modern team site created in SharePoint. Every time you create a team, it provisions a site for you in SharePoint. I can have some nodes allocated, and here is a list of third-party apps I'll be able to add. I can have a planner added to it. I can have, let's say, I use Jira for my company use cases, so I can add Jira. All of that is possible, right? With that said, I know we have only a couple of minutes, so Noor, if you have any questions, I can go over the questions, and any follow-ups we can always come back.
Thanks, Madan. Thanks for the quick session and also a very brief demo. Certainly, a team is going to be a great workplace for modern work collaboration for sure. Yes, I do have few questions from few audience. So let me take one, which is from Mark. So what Mark asks is his question is basically, what is the licensing model for Microsoft Teams? Is there any specific licensing methodology to adopt Microsoft Teams?
Sure, excellent question. I know Teams as a product is introduced as a competitor for Slack. Right? A lot of customers are on Slack, but it would have been probably a slightly tighter competition 1.5 years back. But now, the moment any customer has Office 365 subscription in any format, automatically they get Teams. Right? They don't have to pay additional licensing for Teams as such. Anyone having an O365, which is probably 95% of the case when we talk to customers, or even higher, all of them can leverage Teams with almost probably little higher features than Slack, I would say.
Great, thanks, Madan. So another interesting question is, so we have seen people talking that Microsoft Teams is going to be next Outlook. So why do you say that Teams can grow inorganically?
Sure, sure. So, when I look at it, even in the current, environment, right? So I'm already, part of close to, 85, teams, right? So when I, look at my Outlook groups and, the number of, teams, I have, plenty of, teams I'm already, part of. And when I look back, a lot of the teams are kind of, overlapping. Probably, one manager, created, one team, and then another lead within the same team did not realize that what is the purpose of the team, and he created another, uh, team, for that. So that's something that, it has to be, governed well. What is the scenario, where, you would, create a team, and who in your organization, can create a team and all of that. Right. So that's the reason, it has to be governed well, and, not let, it grow like inorganically.
Perfect. Thanks, Madan. I know we are over time, but I'll just take one last question and we'll take rest offline. So do you have any specific competitors to Microsoft Teams? And if yes, how Microsoft Team fares against them, like how it competes against those competitors?
Okay, sure, sure. I partly, responded to that question earlier, but I'll cover it quickly. So Slack is, probably, one of the, closest, I would say, though, team, based on, a lot of, debates now I'm seeing online, team kind of, is about, or already, surpassed, Slack. So Slack is probably the closest, competitor. But only thing is, when you have Office 365, the way Teams, it works seamlessly across all the Office 365 apps, and you don't need, again, multiple login. You don't need a separate tool. You don't need, a separate mechanism for your, video and audio conferences. So if I look at all of them, probably, Microsoft, Teams stands well above any of the competing products.
Sure. Thanks, Madan. Certainly, we have few more questions, but due to the limitations of time, we will take those offline. Just before we wrap it up, I would just like to mention that we have few blogs on the Microsoft Teams, as you can see on the screen. Please feel free to visit these blogs, and certainly I'll be sharing this in the follow-up email. Thanks again for joining this call, this webinar, and I hope you found it informative. Thanks, Madan, for taking time to deliver this session. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Noor.
Bye.